Every community that had an acequia, the acequias were what allowed those communities to have agriculture.
Welcome to Chats with a Ranger, brought to you by San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park. In this series, you'll hear clips of interviews with experts. This chat with an expert is with our Chief of Facilities, David, and it's about acequias, or irrigation ditches. These acequias brought water to the mission communities in the 1700s and to the many, many acres of farm fields that each mission had. So take a listen to learn more about San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park.
Historically, every community that had an acequia, the acequias were what allowed those communities to have agriculture, to irrigate the farm fields in the type of environment that we have here, where we don't get rains on a regular basis. So that's what the acequias meant to the missions. It was the lifeblood, really, for them to have these stable populations growing crops. But it also meant that they had a lot of labor to keep those acequias, those ditches, clean and flowing. And the type of work that it requires, just for an acequia to think about the ditch, let's say each one is about 7 miles long. That's a long way. It's easy to think about that as being a trail. Think of a 7 mile long trail. Now think of a 7 mile trail that's underwater, and leaves and debris and trash and sediment fill that. That water from Spanish colonial times is traveling at about 17 inches per mile fall. So they're pretty much flat. So there's a lot of sedimentation that happens that needs to be cleaned out on a regular basis. Well, we haven't had a population of 200 or 300 inhabitants to clean the acequias for a very long time. And neighborhoods have grown up. You have drainage issues, you have more storm water, you have vegetation that's grown through all these areas. So we've had decades and decades of issues occurring with these acequias, and our challenge is over time to make sure that we maintain the depth and the flow so that water will always make it to the end. On our part, many of the miles of our acequias are through heavily wooded, heavily vegetated areas that would have been wide open. And now access with backhoes and equipment is very difficult. Removing 18 to 24 inches of sediment throughout 13 miles, you can imagine, is very labor intensive, even if you have access. We're fortunate that we've had very strong relationships with our youth partners, Texas Conservation Corps, and we've been able to funnel funds to support youth programs and get acequia help with them doing a lot of that sort of hand work, removing vegetation, removing mud. It's very dirty, hard work, and they attack it with enthusiasm, and they do a great job.
Thanks for listening to Chats with a Ranger with San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park. Stay tuned for more.